Okay, technical difficulty. We had a technical difficulty. We're back. Anyway, welcome to episode 31 of Keeping It Magical. It's been a while since we've been on, but we've had a lot going on, haven't we?
A tad.
A tad bit.
A tad bit.
So, we're going to start out this video kind of talking about how this all happened and all started on...
That seems to be the common thing we talk about, isn't it?
November 14th of last year. And it led us to getting married on December 11th of last year. Mm-hmm. So we just celebrated our 30th week as husband and wife. Yesterday, we went out to dinner last night.
Tomorrow is 7 months.
Tomorrow's 7 months. Mm-hmm. Holy cow. We mean we got to go to another anniversary dinner tomorrow?
I guess so.
And today, so we're celebrating 3 anniversaries in a row. First, the 30th of the week we've been married. Today is the 34th week since we met. Mm-hmm. And tomorrow will be the 7th month.
I think we just look for reasons to celebrate.
We just celebrate every day of life, our life together.
I like that.
But really, it has been nothing short of a miraculous meeting. Cheers. There's nothing I'd rather do than be your husband.
I was going to say same, but that doesn't make sense, does it?
No, you want to be my wife. No, exactly. I wasn't looking for a husband.
Exactly.
But anyway, welcome to Keeping It Magical, episode number 31. Mm-hmm. We're glad you could join us. And really, this all did start with one phone call on the 14th of November.
A Facebook message. A Facebook message.
A Facebook message. Imagine that. But the Facebook message turned into a phone call that turned into another phone call that turned into messaging each other all day. That turned into a 3-day vacation in Florida. And that felt like we were family. Mm-hmm. And from there, it just kept getting better and better. We got married on December 11th after really deciding that we were just going to do this. Mm-hmm. No matter what anybody thought, no matter what anybody said, we were going to dive into this 100% with each other. Yeah. And what a beautiful dive it's been. It has been truly magical.
I think I read a poem called Jump In. Yeah, I did.
Jump in. Anyway, speaking of reading a poem, you want to read yours first or you want me to?
You can.
Okay, we were both going to read one of our poems that we had written. So I picked the one that I wrote this morning, actually. And it's called The Difference Between Right and Wrong. I sat in my writing chair 34 weeks ago. I was thinking about all the past relationships that went wrong. I prayed to get it right one day, that once in a lifetime a kind of love would suddenly come along. I had written 2 powerful poems about a kind of love I had never really known. I suddenly got a mysterious message. As I read what she said, the signs were being shown. Oh, Lord, were they. It was a magical morning, a beautiful day. I had made plans to take my motorcycle for a ride.
Didn't happen.
That didn't happen. A wave of beautiful energy passed right through me, shaking my dormant feelings deep inside. Before I knew what was happening, we were video chatting like we were long lost friends. That ain't no lie. 4 months earlier, I had actually died, but that was not how my story would end. It didn't take long to figure out that this magical conversation had a deep, meaningful purpose. As we talked about our past love gone wrong, with a beautiful picture of us began to quickly surface. The signs of the synchronicities got brighter and brighter as our first conversation grew to over 2.5 hours. I gotta scroll down. Where am I at?
You see it?
2 hours.
Grew over 2.5 hours old.
The signs of synchronicities got brighter and brighter as our first conversation grew over 2.5 hours old. Little by little, the reason that we came together became so obvious as it all started to unfold. It all felt so perfect as I looked at this beautiful young lady on the other side of that line. The more I tried doubting that she could possibly be fallen, I'd get more clues and signs. Oh my Lord, the signs are just everywhere. 34 weeks have passed since that first conversation. It's been 34 weeks since that beautiful day. We knew right away it was a chance worth taking as our hearts and souls softly began to sway. Now I have the love of an amazing woman, a love like no other love in the past. I know a tender and true love now, and I know why in the past the wrong kind of love didn't last. And that truly was, it was that magical. It was love at first sight. The day you walked into McDonald's with Cammie.
After walking into the wrong one first.
After walking into the wrong one first. It really was, our eyes met, and it just seemed like we had been family forever. And it's felt that way ever since. Although, it took a little while for Cammie to come around, but slowly but surely, she can't even deny
it. You say that. But Cammie...
She can't even deny it. She loves me. She loves
Cammie was okay with you going to the beach with us.
I know.
So
right
she was
away.
okay with it from the
right
beginning.
away. And she approved of us getting married. And I guess I just wanted things to go a little bit faster, but I was very patient, I believe. And
he's always in a hurry.
And she always wants to slow down. But see, there's that, we bring that happy medium to each other. But go ahead. You're next.
Well,
I picked this one out because the subject we're going to talk about today kind of relates to both of these poems. It's about being ready for this kind of something to happen.
I'm trying to remember when I wrote this one. I think it was in February.
Yeah, I believe it was.
I want to say it was in like February.
I think it was a couple months after we'd been married.
Yeah. But it's called And Then. It's a few months old, but anyway. It's still appropriate. All of a sudden I'm like, I can read? What? Breathe. Okay.
Breathe, Melony.
Hey, I just wrote a poem called Breathe. I
know you
wasn't
did.
even trying to be like a self-plug either. I just was like,
Sure.
I know how to do that. Okay. Maybe I should write a poem called Read.
Okay, I'm going to help you here.
I thought that I was unworthy. I thought that I was to blame. I believed the lies they told me. I lived my life in shame. And then, I thought that I was growing. I thought that I wanted more. I believed my life was showing me the path to open doors. And then, I thought that I was fine alone. I thought that I wanted space. I believed that I'd reap all I'd sown, and I longed to see your face. And then, I thought that I was close to finding you. I thought that it wouldn't be long. I knew I loved you before I met you. Our hearts were born singing the same song. And then...
Where'd it go? That does not...
Oh, you're supposed to be helping me.
I know. That's what I was trying to do, but...
I know, it's okay.
I was trying to move it down for there it is.
All right. And then I felt that I was finally free. I felt my soul was complete. For in your eyes I saw me. Your gaze was so familiar and sweet. And then I couldn't imagine my life without you. I had finally found the one. Signs confirmed what we both already knew. We believed and true love was ours to be one. And then I thought that I couldn't love you more than I loved you that first day. Our love was unlike any I'd felt before, and still I love you more each step along our way.
And I love you too, baby. It really was something that was truly magical. And, you know, a lot's happened since that day we got married. We moved again out to Lake Wales. You started a new job in heaven, which is kind of stressful sometimes.
Well, should I go into my elevator pitch about stress? Yeah.
They do entrust her with a lot out of Bach Tower, but I think you truly do enjoy your job. It's a very peaceful place to work. And my whole life got flipped upside down, and I went from going around listening to music in bars and socializing with people, trying to get my dreams out there, my dreams of writing and all that, and publishing more books. That all came to a halt on November 14th. And, you know, I thought about it, especially last night, because when we dropped Cammie off at G-Malls, and she came up and just willingly gave me a hug goodbye, and then we had our group hug. And
she has to be in the middle.
The whole way home, I just kept saying to myself, this is what life's about. And this is way better. When we went out to dinner last night, and we went back to where we celebrated our wedding day, or wedding night, dinner, and I looked over where I used to hang out, and I seen everybody over there, you know, drinking and partying, and music was going on, and we got done eating, and I was like, it's get in the car and go home. I don't want to go over there. I want to go home and just be with you.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I couldn't be happier. Cammie brings out youngness in me and an oldness, but she can wear me down. I think she can wear you down too. She's got a lot of energy, but I fall in love with her more every day. And we were going to go through, you know, some of the things that have been happening. And you want to tell them about the book? Because you're the one doing the editing.
Well, how much do we want to tell them?
I would tell them about how many pages we got. And,
oh, Lord, have mercy.
Oh, my Lord.
It's a lot.
I think it was 222 pages.
That's in one of the documents.
What we're doing is we're going to take the beginning of this journey and what we've written about it so far and make it our first book together. And I think it was a great idea because we can always go back and write about what led up to that, our separate journeys without each other that led us to meeting each other. And then after that, we can go back and do the next 6 months and make it a 6-month book of
a biannual
about believing, really. Not only believing that something like this can happen, but believing in yourself that you can attract something like this. Because it all does start with yourself. And, you know, we post in a lot of places. We post our poetry in a lot of places. And Keeping It Magical has grown to over 2,400 followers and almost 2,200 likes. My own personal page has grown over 2,900 followers, and I just see the magic happening all around us. And it really is, I think, truly both of our dreams to write. Your mother would love to see your name on a book, and she will. And I do want your name to be Melony Craft Killorn, because you were Melony Craft before you were ever Melony Killorn. But I want your mom and your dad to see their name on that book, because they raised a magnificent daughter, and I love you with all my heart.
Me too.
You're making my dreams come true. And that's what I think we want to talk about, the Twin Flame journey. We're on several Twin Flame sites, several looking for love sites, and we post in love quotes and stuff like that, and poems about life. And I see so many what I think is misinformation about relationships.
It's made me start almost even cringing at the words, because there's so much misinformation and misunderstanding out there that it's causing people to
stay in abusive relationships.
To not be able to really reach a place where they're ready and able to experience this kind of love. And this is the love that I wish for everyone to experience. I
do. I want everybody to have what we found. But I see so much, how do I say it this? just wrong information about relationships and this magical kind of love that I believe everybody can find. But it all really does start with you. And if you allow yourself to be in a relationship where somebody's cheating, lying on you, or isn't in it 100%, it makes you feel like you're unworthy of this right now, you're in the wrong relationship. You're in the wrong situation. And, before I met you, I was going out and I was meeting girls. I was meeting people. And every time I started trusting my intuition 100%. If something didn't feel right, it was like not even going to waste my time. And I did. I tried to push a couple of those relationships to try to grab something there that wasn't there. And that's what was so different about this. It was just there was really no doubt. We were talking about life together before we even came face to face. That's how strong this connection, so in line, I think, with each other we were. You want to?
Well, I can. So, to me, it makes me think about whenever you say that. I mean, and we both say it because we've
Right.
talked about this a lot. I mean, clearly, is what are the things that were in place in your life and my life at that point in time that made it so different, that made it where we met, and things just worked.
I think that we had both come to a point in our life where we were living with the utmost integrity. We were living in truth and honesty. We were willing to be honest and open with each other right off the bat. I mean, the conversation we had was just, there was no walls. And to be able to do that with somebody, I think we were both very vulnerable. But when you're vulnerable with somebody and you feel uneasy, that's your intuition telling you this is the wrong person for you. They're never going to listen to you. They're never going to hear you. They're never going to understand you. You seem to understand me. You did understand. I didn't seem. You understood me from start to finish. I mean, that first day, second day, every day since. And I think I have you too. I realized the things that you went to. I didn't hold your past against you. You didn't hold my past against me. But we were very open and honest about our past and the baggage that we had accumulated along the way. And I think when we met, it was so easy to just let go of that baggage. But still acknowledge that it had happened. Still acknowledge that there was still some things that we could help heal through each other. Because love is a very healing power. But, I just think so many people are being misled that they've got one person in this life that is meant for them. And I do believe that. But I also do believe that in your life, you're going to be met with the same kind of challenges over and over and over until you learn your lesson. You're going to meet the same kind of people over and over and over until you learn your lesson. And I think that's where I was at that point where I'd meet somebody and it would literally be one day I'd be like, 2 days I'd be honest, nah, we can be friends, but that's it. I was that adamant about how my gut was talking to me. And I think you were there too.
I don't even know if I made it 1 or 2 days if I didn't like somebody. I didn't immediately connect.
You could tell by the first conversation almost over the phone. And I've had those too. And, all along this 3.5 year journey, I also met some people that I did connect with, but not in this kind of way. I had deep connections with a lot of people. And I named some, Debbie Jane Harrison, Natalie Ann Harrison, Marcella Rankin, some people from overseas that I had healing conversations with. Because everybody, no matter if you want to admit it or not, if you're going through a healing process, if you loved and lost, love. But I would have rather loved and lost than never have loved at all. Because I've always been that way. I felt like you were out there waiting for me. But it took a whole lot of lessons before I think God said, yep, they're ready for each other. And our age difference was something I probably overthinked a lot, didn't it?
Quite possibly. Quite possibly.
Yeah, Kevin
overthinking.
Kevin overthought the age difference a lot, but for good reason. I just found something that was
You
amazing.
are like 90. How old are you?
94 or 5, something like
Just
that. I'll be 106 next year. But it was something that I really did have to think about because it was this serious to me. Mm-hmm. I was about to get a little girl in my life that I knew was going to, because kids have always come up to me and felt an attachment. Because I'm good around kids. I coach baseball. I love kids. And nothing makes me happier to see a kid smile. Mm-hmm. But I was about to involve a little girl. Not just her mom. And this is the other thing, too. I was living in integrity. I wasn't going around sleeping with 1,500 different girls or a different girl every weekend or running these girls through relationships after relationships and in and out. I wasn't playing games. I made it perfectly clear what I was searching for with everyone I ever met. And whether I was interested in you or not. Just read my wall. I mean, it was very obvious what I was trying to attract. And I think that's the other thing, too. We had to become what we wanted to attract. Mm-hmm. We had to be the person that when we looked in the mirror goes, I'm fine with that. I love that. I can't imagine my life without that. And I really do believe that both of us right away thought, this is a once in a lifetime. This isn't going to happen every day. And there's going to be some bumps along the way, but I'm willing to go over them.
Well, so it made me think about if someone was to ask me what are things I could look for or what are things how can I check or, like what are some things that I can use as like a
guideline,
signs or whatever you want to call them. I don't know. So some of the things that I thought of are, first off, right off the bat, one of the first things you should know is ask that person to describe the relationship that they want and that they're looking for.
Right.
And if you, in that person's description of what they're looking for, is the same, mm-hmm. That's your first, okay, this might work.
Yep.
If they're not the same and they're looking for something different than what you were looking for,
and you did,
then you really need to think carefully about it, because that's one of the things about it at the very beginning that made me so comfortable with it. Mm-hmm. Because then you'll see it leads to the other things.
Right.
That, okay, so what we're wanting is the same. Right. Okay, so there's equal,
number one, I think is the made you comfortable with me was I acknowledged that you had a little girl, that she was number one priority in your life, that I wasn't going to come in and take that priority from you, but I wanted to be a priority in your life, not just your life, but her life. Mm-hmm. And I said, I expressed how much I love kids, which I think was just a big turn on for you. But that's a turn on for me too. I love seeing a kid happy. Mm-hmm. I love seeing a kid with happy parents. But go on.
So, once you know, really, because I don't think that's something that a lot of people think about.
Right.
But, like, the way that you described the relationship that you were looking for and the kind of love that you were looking for and wanted was exactly the same, right, as the kind of relationship and love that I wanted and was looking for. It
almost scared me that we were so much on the same page. Mm-hmm. And I do believe it was a true reflection of what we had been praying for. Mm-hmm. God truly did answer prayers.
I mean, if I had asked you that and you would have said, well, I just want somebody I can get along with and
go hang out with and,
and
see every weekend.
Somebody that doesn't annoy me and get on my nerves and that I can just be friends with.
I mean, if you really are truly looking
I mean, not that all those things aren't also part of it, but, like, I wanted all. I wanted the big, like, fire, like, passion, like, love, all these, like, the fairy tale stuff, kind of. I don't know.
I couldn't do mediocre again. That's
no
for
mediocre.
Sure. It had to be something. And I think really by talking about where we wanted to go with each other, what possibilities were out there instead of the problems, because we had some right off the bat, and instead of talking about the problems, it's like, okay, now where do we go from here? What else can we do to make this better? And you did. You worked hard to get your job at Bach Tower, and I think I worked very hard at taking care of Cammie. And for those it's not like I don't work. Taking care of Cammie's a big job, but I worked in a factory for 30 years. I retired. I get money for doing that, for being such a dedicated employee for 30 years. So I'm not a deadbeat.
I'm not a deadbeat.
I was working when we met. But here again, we're willing to work on our priorities. And Cammie is a huge priority. And I do want her to be taken care of by me instead of some daycare or something like that.
Which, that goes along with the next thing. I think that it's super important to make sure that you know your own values. You know what's important to you. And that you ask the other person what their values are. Like, what are the things that you really hold as important to you? And so, like, when you're talking about how you wouldn't ever want to take priority over Cammie and things like that. Well, to me, what you're saying when you're telling me that is you're telling me about your values. You're telling me about where you stand on these topics that are important to me. And so when I see that, okay, so we're in agreement.
Right.
Okay, that's... and maybe not every one of them is exactly like, okay, well, trust is number one, honesty is number two. Okay,
well,
not even saying that.
The ones she kind of questioned, they all came about.
You have to really, they have to be like, okay, well, that fits, And so if you don't, what if the other person doesn't value honesty? I'm just picking one, but... And that's like your number one. Like, well, then that's not going to work, clearly.
Well, honesty is. It always should be a number one.
That's why that wasn't a really good example.
That's really the basis. We were so open and honest with each other about everything, about our whole life. That first conversation. I'd never been more candid with anybody. And, I didn't look good through all of it. And you didn't look good through all of it.
I wasn't trying to make myself.
But we admitted we had made mistakes with the wrong people. And I think that's kind of the reason, it's not kind of, it is the reason we came together. So we can talk about this stuff and make people realize that until you value your own self-worth, you're not going to get anybody else to. Same with following my dreams. My dreams would have never came true if I didn't believe they were going to happen and make the effort to make them happen. Things aren't going to fall in your lap. You have to get your mind right. You have to get your heart right. You have to get your soul right. You have to actually believe in yourself for this to happen. And
believe in yourself? What?
Now there's a new concept.
I know. I was just saying.
And not really care one bit if nobody else does. It really is being bold, authentic, and real. And a lot of people can't handle real. A lot of people can't handle that outspokenness. But I can't change now. I can't go back to being this caged animal that has to watch everything he says, that has to hold his feelings inside. And that's what is so beautiful about you. There's been times where Kevin's gotten upset about something or didn't feel like something was right. But instead of turning your back on, closing your ears and not listening, you listen intensely. because this meant so much to you.
And intentionally.
And intentionally. She listened to me and then explained her point of view on it. And then I listened. And we talked about it. And maybe we didn't totally agree on some things. But we came to a realization that we cared enough to talk about it. Mm-hmm. That we could find this level, medium ground, even if we do have a disagreement. But in reality, our disagreements weren't really about us. It was about other things that were going on in our life that I think we came to a beautiful conclusion to. And it was just moving forward. Mm-hmm. Not dwelling on the negative. Not letting other people drag us down or what other people did. I still can't believe somebody tried to make a duplicate YouTube channel and slander us for some reason.
How much time that took?
The energy that took to spew that kind of hatred was I still shake my head over.
There's so much pain there.
But it is, and I do pray for that person, whoever it was, for the people who thought that was funny or whatever. I'm sorry you do. I really do, because you got a lot of healing to do. Mm-hmm. But it took a lot of healing for both of us, I think, for this to happen. Mm-hmm. And we both took it very seriously, but very lightly. We held on to each other tightly, but loosely. I didn't try to change who you were. You didn't try to change who I was. Mm-hmm. You believed in my dreams. We started keeping magical, and I'm just amazed that Keeping Magical has over 2,400 viewers now, followers, over almost 2,200 likes. My own personal page, I made a business page, and it's growing every day. And I got over 2,900 followers on it. But it has been a journey of finding myself. Mm-hmm. And not settling for anything less than what I deserved. And then God blessed me with way more than I ever thought I deserved. But then I had to be open for it. And you had to be open for it. And it had to be the right time. Sometimes I think people do meet at the wrong time in their lives. But if you ask me, they were just a test. They were a test to make you look at yourself. Why did you let this happen? Because whenever relationships fail, what's our favorite saying? What's the common denominator?
Yeah, I've been the common denominator.
I've been the common denominator too.
We're all our own common denominator, by the way.
If you were involved in it and you allowed it, you were the common denominator. Mm-hmm. And until you start realizing that everything you've been through was everything that you put yourself through, you'll begin to see your self-worth when you start looking deep inside of why certain things happen over and over. Well, until you learn the lesson, you'll never find the answers. So, this twin flame thing is just, it's something that it just almost makes me cry sometimes, because I see so many people just lost in all this misinformation about twin flame. I believe, and I think you do too, life can throw you some curves. But if you find what you truly want and need in your life, you'll do everything you can to fight for it, to keep it, to hold it dear. You don't want to let it go. You can't let it go. It's something you want to work at every day. And it's a relationship where you look for the possibilities. You take the problems and you solve them. And you don't ever stop communicating.
Right.
I've never talked to anybody I've been with as much as I've talked to you.
We talk a lot.
We talk a lot. Oh my Lord.
Kevin likes to talk.
That's beautiful. And it's
So do
because we can. We feel that great with each other. Whatever if you don't believe in twin flames, you don't believe in love at first sight,
That's
it happens every time.
That's okay. And the thing that I think is really important, or that for me, that I would like to stress is that I don't care what term you want to put on in something.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care what you want to call it. I don't care what your beliefs are about it. What I know to be true is that love is not painful.
No.
Love does not harm. Love does not have selfish, cruel intentions.
No.
So when you are living from a place of love, and so what you're doing is you're loving yourself, you're giving love to others, because love is not only romantic. I mean, clearly.
When you love yourself, it goes pouring out.
Oh, yeah. So then when you're living from that place of love, and you're open to the fact that you don't need to judge and classify and categorize other people's behaviors.
Right.
Okay? So, like, when I met you, I didn't immediately try to lump you into a bag with, okay, well, I see this goes in this category, and this goes in this category, and this goes in this category.
Right.
I just received everything that you said and everything that you did in love.
But it flowed very easily.
Right.
And you did the same with me. Every word out of your mouth, really the whole time we've known each other, has been from the state of love. From that inner love that you feel for. You've never been angry at me. Maybe that I didn't hear you or something like that, but you've never showed anger towards me. Maybe some tiredness from everything that we've been through. But it seems like I really did. I knew you from the minute I met you. And it is a complete understanding of each other. Or at least a willingness to try to understand each other.
Right.
I don't know, folks. There's just so much confusion out there. But there are so many narcissists out there that target empaths, target good-hearted people. I know I was the target of one. You were the target of one. I believe.
And recently,
whether you want to label them or not.
And we might have to talk about this on a different one another day, but I've had some personal understandings about the whole narcissist, empath, relationship things, like just like new levels of understanding and kind of insight into that whole thing where I kind of have it's not a different perspective, but I really feel like I have like a new level of kind of understanding and insight about the whole thing. And it's why I've used the word narcissist many, many times.
Right.
I don't have anything against the use of the word narcissist.
Right.
But I've really just this last week just started developing this real sensitivity to even the use of the word narcissist and all of these words that are out there that are so sensationalized. Well, it's not even that. It's just that I think that what we have to realize is that whether a person is a narcissist, an alcoholic,
drug addict,
an abuser, whatever they are, a cheater, someone who just doesn't have the same desire for the same level of commitment, whatever it is, that doesn't make them compatible with you.
Right. I get you. I get where you're going.
You shouldn't have to get to the level of being a narcissist.
Right.
And have all these characteristics that lump you into this group that could get a diagnosis, because that's really how we made it out to be. But you should just be able to have a feeling that doesn't sit right with me.
Right.
And it doesn't take it being this huge, grandiose thing. It's okay to, at that first, that doesn't sit right with me.
Right.
To just that to be enough to say, either let's talk about this and we can figure it out, or not. I think that it kind of, all of the focus on those words just allow for this ball to get rolling to where it just builds up to be this big, huge thing.
And I've been guilty of that too, but it was mainly it wasn't so much me labeling them, it was their actions that spoke that word to me, that spoke that behavior to me. But then when I got that I got that feeling that video being shown to me of their actions, it rang true to me that this was someone that I couldn't be with, I couldn't be happy with. And that was the thing. I was a happy person before I met you. You were a happy person before you met me. Mm-hmm. Our happiness has just increased since then. But it truly was identifying what rang true to you and what didn't. And if you got that gut that something's not right about this person, trust it. If somebody walks away from you so easily and leaves you in tears, I doubt that they really care. There's been a few times I've made you cry, but I didn't leave you in tears. I showed that I cared about I had hurt your feelings, or whatever it was I did. I didn't want to leave you in tears. I cared enough to come up and say, let's talk about this, because I don't want to see you this way. And that's what somebody in love with you will do. They won't beat you down. They won't keep beating you down. They'll want to know why they made you cry. And you've made me cry. Some good tears and some sad tears. But you wanted to know why. And it truly is just undying care for each other. And you cared for me when I was sick. You cared for me when I was down. And you never said, oh, here he is. He's 69 years old. He's already going. I wore him out. I'm going to put him in the grave. No. You helped me get better. Every time. Mm-hmm. You're a godsend in my life.
Same.
So what were you going to do?
As you were sitting there talking, I don't even know. Like, it's not a poem. It's just like thoughts I wrote down this morning.
Go ahead.
And now I was like, oh, and I just felt like pulling it up and reading it.
I'll shut up for a while.
So, I don't know. I was just sitting here this morning. I think I was eating breakfast and drinking coffee. And
go ahead.
Wrote this down. I say wrote this down. Type this in notes on my phone. When you have finally reached a place of healing regarding a situation, you will find yourself asking how you can better understand others involved, instead of begging others to better understand you.
Right.
And you will take space, like hold space for you. You'll get away from a situation.
You wrote a poem
any
about
sort of volatility. If the situation is volatile, if you don't feel safe and you don't feel like you are in a place where you can have space to sit and be quiet and think and reflect and be able to do that without being attacked or bombarded emotionally, physically, whatever way, then you need to get away from that.
Right. Exactly.
At least long enough. I'm not saying it has to be over, because I don't know everybody's situation, but if there's a moment where you feel like there's anything volatile about that situation, you need to get away from it.
Right.
And that I will stand by that forever, because
anger and violence will rear its ugly head, and it'll keep rearing its ugly head, and it'll keep getting worse and worse and worse the more you put up with it.
And I think that another important thing about, and this goes right along with what we've been talking about, is that you will also refuse to be used or manipulated by anyone attempting to reenact their own traumas.
Right. And
that's a statement about what you will and won't tolerate, with zero judgment for either party.
Right.
I mean, you're going to make sure that you refuse to be used or manipulated for another person to reenact or put their pain upon you. Because when people act in mean ways to us, in unloving ways, that's what they're doing. They're putting their pain on us.
Yes, that's true. Hurt people will hurt people. And once you realize that, I say hurt people will hurt people, but hurt people that have healed will refuse to hurt someone. They can't, because they don't want. It's why I started this journey 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago. What I had been through, I had to write it all out. And sometimes I sat there and I wondered why I had to write it all out. And the reason became more and more clear. There were so many more people that went through the same thing that I did. Mm-hmm. There were so many more people that had gone through all these situations that never ever wanted to hurt anyone. But they got hurt. And I wanted to let them know that they weren't alone. But they can't stay down either. They can't allow their past to dictate their future. Because that first step you take is the road to better things. God will remove people from your life for a reason. So you can step into the person you're supposed to be. And when I found you, 3.5 years ago, this psychic little girl told me that I was going to go on a journey that was going to be rough. But at the end, I was going to find exactly what I needed in my life. 3.5 years later, I met you. And I knew right away that that little girl had told me the truth that day. But I got a whole lot of tests along the way. And as long as I followed my gut, I knew I couldn't go wrong. And nothing, not one day, have you made me feel unwanted, unneeded, unloved. And if I was feeling that way, you made sure it didn't last very long.
I never told you didn't feel that way.
And I hope I've done the same for you.
Yeah.
And maybe some people think I go overboard. Well, I truly do love you. I'm a writer. I'm a dreamer. I'm a poet. And I told her
You're going to kill me with all that love.
And I told her that I was going to make our dreams come true. Mm-hmm. And I knew when the day I met you that we were going to be magical. And we're in the process of writing a book that will be published probably by a publisher in the UK, which they enjoy that kind of stuff a lot more than Americans. But hopefully this book will go...
That's the old story. The new story is that it's going to start taking over in the United States.
me and Melony are going to make poetry amazing in the United States.
We're bringing poetry back.
We're bringing it back. Bringing it back. But it really is an expression of the heart. It's an expression of my creativity. God gave me a gift for a reason. And I put a lot out there in the last 3.5 years. A tad. Melony started opening the file and thought, maybe we just better do from when we met.
It's a good thing I have a lot of experience copy and pasting.
But that doesn't mean that the beginning of this 3.5 year journey won't be written about into a book later. But right now, I think God's leading us to tell about what true love really feels like, what true love really is, and dispel some of the misinformation I think that's being put out there. We love you guys.
We do.
You got anything else you want to add?
Just, if you want to be loved or find love, live from a place of love.
And really, love is about giving. It's not about taking. If you give enough love, if you put enough love out there, one day, if you believe, because you have to believe it, it'll find you. And I thank God you found me. I love you, baby.
Yeah.
We are going to keep on keeping it magical.
Of course.
And until next time, y'all have a great... Is this Sunday or Monday?
Sunday.
It's Sunday. See, but it's her actual Saturday because she works Saturday.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But anyway, have a great rest of the weekend. Have a great Sunday night. And somebody's birthday's coming up.
Oh, that guy, that 95-year-old guy?
Yeah. I love this woman.
I love you too.
No.
Don't give us my glasses.
Oh, I didn't want to get lipstick. Have a great day. We love you guys. Bye.